Joining us now is Democratic Congresswoman Sharice Davids of Kansas, where the American Airlines flight originated. The Congresswoman serves on the Transportation Committee. Congresswoman, thank you. Thank you for your time. Before we get to all of this issue of the latest crash investigation, I just want your thoughts first on how your community is doing.
Yeah, I mean, I can just say heartbroken and devastated. I think that when you have something like this happen, Kansas is a small state. A lot of us know each other, and every single person in Kansas has felt the impacts of this. And then as more information comes out, we see that there are going to be families all over the country that are feeling the impacts of this tragedy, and then of course a lot of gratitude to our first responders and the folks who immediately went out there to do everything they could in the aftermath of this tragedy.
On the crash itself, what are you hoping to learn from the investigation, and where should Congress and the White House, I guess, start in terms of what they do on the legislative and even infrastructure part of this?
I mean, I think that a lot of people are wondering that right now. I can tell you that as a federal official, anybody who's part of the federal government, the best thing we can do right now is everything we can to support the families and the victims' loved ones who have been impacted by this, and to support our first responders. We also need to make sure that we give the NTSB, the National Transportation Safety Board, the FAA, and the Department of Defense all the support and resources they need so they can do an independent, thorough investigation, so that then Congress and the federal government as a whole can look at exactly what happened and change policies or regulations where necessary. And right now, we don't have all of those facts, contrary to what some folks out there, including the president, might be saying. We do not know what the facts are that led to this tragedy. And once we find those, we need to do everything we can to prevent this sort of thing from happening again.
And wherever that responsibility lies should be outlined, and I think that it is really fair for everyone to say we are going to remove our partisan filters and find out where the weakness is, where the weakness was, and then just do something about it. And I'm just bringing it back to you, and I'm so glad that you mentioned, people, because of the 67 people that lost their lives in this crash was 20-year-old Wichita college student Grace Maxwell. She was returning from her grandfather's funeral. Bob and Lisa Schrock were on their way to see their daughter at college. Her friend had this to say about their loss.
All the things that her parents won't be there for, like her wedding. If she becomes a doctor, they won't get to see her achieve that.
And we don't know the names of all of the people that lost their lives, but every single one of those people, including 11-year-old children and parents who were going to see their child at college or returning from a funeral, or an extraordinary young lady who had, become a lawyer and was coming back from a business trip after experiencing success at such an early age and everything she intended. How do we understand this, Congresswoman?
Well, I think, first of all, I feel like one of the things that everybody is trying to do right now is look for a reason that this tragedy happened, and we will get that. We absolutely will. These investigations, the NTSB they're trained professionals. They know what they're doing, and then for all of the rest of us, the thing that we can do is let that play out and do what we can to support our first responders, to support the families of the victims. And then I mean, I guess one thing I'll say is the Wichita Foundation, like I said, every Kansan is thinking about ways to be supportive. The Wichita Foundation, if you look at their website, they've got information about ways to be supportive. And that's not just for the folks in Kansas, that's for everybody
Yeah.
who was impacted. I think that right now, and I can tell you the outpouring of support, the outpouring of love has been pretty profound because I mean you shared just a couple of the stories. Uh, there are going to be 67 people's families, loved ones,
Yeah.
friends, colleagues, communities that are going to feel the
Yeah.
impacts of this for the rest of our lives.